That's one of my favorite songs. I really like that song. It's a good reminder that all God's blessings don't always come as we expect them to come. I was going to tell everybody, everyone who's performing, I need you guys, you should have gotten a little pamphlet that told you when you're coming up here to perform. About 2 performances before yours, come into this room, all right? We're going to have other performers come out of this curtain, this black curtain back here, okay? So we'll hear that, all right? And again, I want to remind everybody, this aisle right here, we have a camera right there, so if you're going to the bathroom, we prefer that you would go around and through the back of the sound booth back there, all right? So we still have a few more performances left in the night, okay? Coming up, we have Mr. Josh Willis performing The Lady in the Moon. It's an original piece by himself. So you guys help me introduce Josh Willis.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
And how are you today?
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
I do not have a musical talent, so instead, I will read something I wrote. Once upon a time, there was a man that lived alone in the woods. No human alive loved this man because he had been born horribly deformed. Even the mother that he had depended on for his very existence had left him at the edge of the lake at the first sign of his deformity. But he did not die, and while he grew, he shunned the company of all men. He remained at that lakeside, whose beauty had captivated him from the very first time he had ever seen it. So all alone he sat, night after night, alone, watching the pale stars above him as they twinkled in the night, feeling the cold bite of the wind as it blew across the surface of the lake. He listened to the nightingale and the owl as they flew through the air, and every night smelled the bite of the pine forest, whose sweet perfume permeated the air. And every night he went down to the lake near his house, a lake with waters as calm as glass, to gaze upon the pale, cold face of the moon, reflected in the water with a beauty magnified by the still water. He sat on the edge of the woods and watched, waiting for the new rays of the sun and the spell to be broken. This man had no wants as any other man. His one wish was that he could meet the spirit of the moon, whose face he had grown to love more than anything else. The chill of the night lit a fire, an uncontrollable flame of love. His love grew sharp among the frigid airs of the night, and his heart grew strong with the longing that possessed his every waking hour. The face of the moon haunted his steps, and that cold lake his every waking hour. No more could he rest in the solitude of his mountain home, and no more would he take solace from only himself and the beauty of the night. Now he had known love, and this pursuit would either be satisfied or it would destroy him. Despite the feelings coursing through him, every night, just as he had for so long, he went down to the lake and watched the world in all of its beautiful majesty and felt peace. Its placid, unmoving surface always served to stir his soul and clear the mind. Many months passed by while the man waited in the edge of the lake, his love growing stronger every day until it became an all-consuming passion. Then one day, as he sat on the edge of the lake, he saw a ripple spread from the very center of the pond. Never before, in the long years he had sat on the edge of the water, had he seen a single ripple or any other disturbance cross the surface of the lake. In his curiosity, he drew close to the pale face of the moon, reflected amongst the waters that had followed his every waking moment. He looked down in the clear water and was set under a spell by what he saw there. It was a woman looking up at him as though she had always been there, looking up from the cold depths, waiting for all eternity for the man to look down upon her. She was unnaturally beautiful, pale as the face of the moon, with perfect black hair that flowed down her head like the perfect waters of the lake. In her hair was nestled stars, whose brightness added to the beauty of her frame. All around her the river weeds swayed in a hypnotic dance and unseen currents. She rose from the water, never looking away from he who had pursued her for so long. In his face she saw none of the horrible disfigurements of his kind, but rather saw only the strength of his soul and the love of his heart, and his never-ending passion. The grace he truly possessed showed itself despite the horrible deformities that plagued him, at least in her eyes. Slowly she walked toward him, the very grace of the moon flowing from her. She reached out and stroked the man's face. He brought her to himself, slowly embracing her, and all the love and passion flowed freely from him, bottled as it had been for her. They embraced each other for the night, listening among the trees to the call of the nightingales and the wind through the trees.